Jeff, obviously the 3 first half turnovers really put you guys behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it was just a perfect storm. It's very disappointing. I'm the head coach. It's my responsibility. We had a great week of practice. No one saw this coming. I don't want to make a soft bed for our kids, but it was a lot for those guys to what they went through last Saturday night. Play a team as hot as we are against them. Playing to get in a bowl. And, I did my best to get those guys ready, and I didn't get them ready. And that responsibility falls on me. We're extremely embarrassed by our performance. Sorry for our fans that drove all the way down here, our band that came down here. But nobody is taking this loss worse than those players are right now. And none of us saw this coming.
Jeff, did you feel like the guys entered this game with the right mindset and mentality that you preached, or was there a difference that you saw today in that regard?
No, they were fine. It's just they're a really good team at running the football. And when you turn the ball over, the rain negated our passing game. And when you take away our 3 receivers from us, that's hard, right? We're not an offense that can just line up and physically impose our will on somebody. We have to have other ways to move the ball down the field. We're a nice complementary football team, and we didn't have any compliments tonight. We were single-handed, all we could do is run it. Kudos to them. That's the way they've been playing. That's how they've been playing football. And I'll never make excuses about the weather. I'm just stating the factual what happened today.
Was there any cases like an emotional hangover from last week, or guys looking ahead maybe?
I wouldn't say it was that drastic, Greg. I think human nature is we probably weren't as juiced up as we were last week, but it wasn't like a bad effort. I know y'all probably feel that way from watching the game, but we just couldn't get off a block and make a tackle. And they were at a 10, and we probably played at an 8. And when you turn it over 3 times in the weather, you're going to get embarrassed, which we did today.
Jeff, the battle in the trenches, it seemed like they were able to win that today.
On both sides of the ball. They beat us. Their D-line beat our O-line. Their O-line beat us up front. And I don't say that in any way to blame my bigs. Those guys deserve all the credit. They're the reason we're here right now. But we couldn't control the line of scrimmage today. And we couldn't make a play down the field to bail them out when we did protect. We just couldn't quite make that play today.
How about coming out after halftime? Did you see the fight and the embodiment of the culture?
We had a great halftime. Kids were fantastic, and we 3 and outed, and they drove the ball right down our throat. There was nothing different. But I know that their will was there, and I know it doesn't seem that way when you're watching the game. I understand it. I was just as frustrated as y'all are. But when you really just watch, I had to study the video to make sure, but I'd be shocked if any of our kids did not play as hard as they could. I'd be shocked.
Jeff, was Frank Harris hurt, or what was the reason for going to Josh in the second?
Well, we were just being smart. He's always nicked up, right? That's just the way he kind of plays, and it's a short turnaround. Josh needed to play, and that was the reason we made that decision.
You said during the week that UNT could ruin your all season, but you still have a conference championship to play for. How do you look at that now?
Yeah, well, nobody wanted to go undefeated more than we did, so that hurts terribly bad. But we still have everything to still play for. And obviously whenever you lose to an in-state school, it hurts even worse because, we all are recruiting the same kids. And so that'll be a pain that'll be in ours the whole offseason, honestly.
Along those lines, how was the locker room after the game?
I've got a mature team. We don't talk about winning and losing. We did not play up to our standard today. The triangle, our brand, our culture, we did not uphold our end of the deal, which is why the scoreboard turned out the way it did. But there was no finger pointing, nobody blaming. There was no BCD. There was no blaming, complaining, defending. It's a very mature locker room, and whoever we play Friday, we'll get our best Friday night.
You showed some patience early in the game, a punt on 4th and short. You took the field goal for 17-6. Kind of like you were waiting for that thing to happen to kind of turn it, and it never came. Is that kind of the way you saw it?
Yes, sir. We're an 11-0 team. They were a 5-16. I did not want to go press early and show any kind of desperation. I had chosen to kind of let this thing play out, thinking that at some point we'd regain our form, but it just never did. So hindsight being 2020, maybe we should have gone for it.
Is Frank's status a concern at all heading towards Friday, or do you anticipate he'll be good to start?
Frank's status is a concern every day because the way he practices, the way he plays, he's been a game time decision every night I've ever coached him. So I know this. He's always a game time decision, but the sucker's always out there. I've told y'all before. He was crushed. I took him out of the game. I mean, balling, head on my shoulder, just like he was last year when I took him out to protect his own. You got to protect him. You have to protect him from him sometimes.
You talked about the weather a little bit. What steps did you take through the week to try to prepare for the possibility that it would be
Just
wet?
whatever a coach does, put water on the ball a little bit. You can't overdo that. You'll put so much ball. I've thrown quarterbacks' arms out before by throwing a wet ball so dang much, and I've seen receivers lose their confidence by trying to catch wet balls. I mean, you got to be careful on that. I mean, they fumbled it too. They recovered theirs, and we fumbled ours and didn't get them back tonight. It happens sometimes. But yeah, I would say I got to do better. I guess take the punt returners to the car wash and have them catch punts for the next week. That'd be the new drill we'll do.
Jeff, the quick turnaround here Friday coming up, short week. Just what's the mentality?
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be Monday. We'll be in 8. We'll give the kids off. They will be off. They'll get treatment, and they'll have their day off tomorrow. Coaches will be in early and start game planning. We'll grade the video on the way home tonight. I've got a great group of leaders. My single-digit guys will be ready to go. I know my kids, and this is on me as the head coach. It's not on my players. I didn't have them ready. For whatever reason, I didn't get it done.
Did you think that the mentality and the approach to this week and getting ready for Friday will be any different because of a result like this?
You have to ask my guys. I know my guys. I mean, anytime they've been doubted or tested all year, they always respond. And I know the locker room, they were all looking me right in the eye. Nobody was ducking me. They all told me how much they love me. I told them how much I love them. And you wouldn't know other than there's no music and us all jumping around in there by the way they carried themselves if we won or lost. Now, it's very quiet in there. It's very somber. But their heads are up, their shoulders are back, and they're acting just the way I would expect them to when they just got their teeth kicked in. They're embarrassed.
Thank you.
Sorry, man. God bless. Birds up.